Westfield, one of my favorite markets. I own several homes in the Westfield market. Um, and it's, I would say, maybe cooling a little bit. I would say in the last 2 years, it has been just absolutely on fire.
Yeah.
I think our channel has contributed to that. We need to also contribute or track views on this one as well because inventory is going up on this one. But if we look at average rental price, we ended it here down a little bit. We're at 2,200 for the end of the year here at December, which is down 4%. But look, it's up almost 13% from last year. So I mean, it's a strong market. It really is. And if you look at from January to December, that trend line is up. It's a little flatter than we saw in Noblesville, but it's still trending in the right direction. I would say it's probably cooling a little bit, but definitely still trending in the right direction. And if you look here, our little sneak peek of January, we are starting up above January for last year. So still pretty good signals. If we look at active homes, 120, that's actually quite a lot. I'll show you on our next graph of how that figures out historically, but I think if I recall correctly, that's going to end the year at its highest point. So I'll talk about that there just a little bit in just a second. But average days on the market, a little high, not crazy for December. So 41 days on the market, which is actually down 30, almost 2% from last year, down 12% from last year on that one. So nothing too alarming there on days on the market. But that's been, I think, a little bit of a wild ride here as well. Average sales price, we are at 380, 517 on this one. That is up 2% over last year, and then just down slightly over last month. So again, still very, very affordable. I mean, it's for the area, it's a little bit high, but overall, that's still super affordable. I mean, 380 is super, super affordable. And kind of going back to the Fishers, this is also an area I think that you're going to see appreciation as well. There's so much, if you guys aren't familiar with Westfield, there's so much construction, so much development going on in this area. It's mind-blowing. My parents live up there, and I go up there every couple weeks, and every time I go up there, there's something new completed, going up, a new community. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Westfield is insane.
Yeah, and they throw them up so fast these days. You find yourself on a street. Wait, am I in Westfield?
Exactly.
I know, they throw them up like crazy.
It's nuts. Number of homes sold, there was 64 of those homes sold, so there is still quite a few of affordable homes in the Westfield market. So I'm still bullish on Westfield. I still like it as a market. I think it's cooled a little bit, but cooling from an increase of 20%, 12%, 13%. It's still, I think, has really good fundamentals, lots of growth, lots of potential, lots of development out there.
Absolutely, yeah. And you use the word cool. This is a time where I'm not afraid of that word right now, right? I mean, the market has been just kind of crazy over the last, really over the last 12, 16 months. It's been kind of all over the place. So cooled in my terms tells me stabilized. It's stabilizing a little bit, so that we can develop a trend, so that we know if this is a good market to be placing our dollars in. And I'm just going to bullet point a couple items that I really like about this market report. I'm from the Indy area. I know what Westfield's about. Westfield is a stunning market. Again, it's on the north side of Indianapolis. It's not far from Carmel, so it does get a little bit of that runoff, I think. But there's a ton going on in Westfield. It's got Grand Park. It's close enough to the music center over there. I think a tremendous amount of potential in the Westfield market. I'm looking at this for sure if I'm even considering getting into real estate investment. I noticed average days on market, we're seeing that trend down in this market report, which is down 31%. That's awesome. That's awesome. 41 days on the market. I'm not afraid of 41 days. I mentioned this back in the Noblesville market. 45 days is what we were seeing in Noblesville. That doesn't scare me at all. I'm in tune with the information. I know how to make those quick adjustments to make sure that I'm under that average, right? I mean, these averages are made up of higher numbers and lower numbers. It's going to be made up of mine being on the lower number without a doubt. but last month we were seeing 60 days on market averaging out in Westfield. So we're down to 41. It's stabilizing. And then lastly, and then I'll shut up on this one, allow you to continue on with the next graphic, is right where you're circled at here. I mean, you're seeing an increase year over year. I mean, that's what we want to see. If I'm looking at this market, I want to know exactly what happened last January. And is this continuing to look better than it did last month? Well, this market certainly tends to be that way. I don't think you're going to see any slowdown in new construction or commercial industry being driven to this area without a doubt. I think you're going to see a play on most of those ROI points that you're looking for as a real estate investor.
Totally agree. One thing I did, actually, we talked about this, Chris, before, but I wanted to pull up last month's just real quick to show the history. If we look at last month's report, this is Westfield. So this is last month, which is going to be inclusive of 2023, which is basically what we're looking at here in this dark line, but then also 2022. So we're basically looking at 2 full years of data here. And if you look at 2022, where we started, my goodness, the average rent in 2022 was like what, $1,650, maybe $1,700.
Yeah.
And now we're at $2,200, so a $600 average rent increase over 24 months. I mean, that is unbelievable. So that's, I mean, if anybody wonders why I'm so hot on the Westfield market, that's why.
Exactly. I'm so glad you pointed that out. And I'm just going to mention this because you may be immediately looking at, because I know we went quickly there from the last year's graphic, is to be looking at these numbers, right? This graph looks like it's all over the place. Oh, is that accurate? Is that where a market I want to be in? Because it looks like it's all over the place. Well, look, if you change up these numbers a little bit, it's looking a little bit more consistent. But to Mike's point there, the number that you want to be aware of is, yeah, you're $600 more. I mean, what a great time to have been in this market. So,
Who doesn't want to own a home in Westfield right now, right?
Yes, yeah. Mike's over there smiling. Yeah, I got several in the Westfield area. Yes, there we go. That's what a great market report. Tune in next month. Let's keep our fingers on the pulse of this market for sure. It's exciting.
Let's do it. Let me just do a couple more quick things on Westfield just to provide a little bit of perspective, specifically on this active homes. As I mentioned, this 120 is going to end the year at its high point. So, and that's, look, if we go back to January of last year, that we're double the inventory. Now, that in and of itself is a big deal. However, I'm not like super alarmist about it just because of the growth that we are seeing in Westfield. I mean, literally, I can think of like 10 to 15 new communities that are coming online right now in Westfield. So it's a shocking number to think, oh man, the inventory has doubled. But it's also shocking how much inventory is out there, how many people are moving to the Westfield market. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. I think this is maybe why we're cooling a little bit, because we are seeing the increase in the inventory, but it's not like throwing water on the fire or anything like that. It's just cooling a little bit. So it's something to watch, but nothing to be alarmed about.
Yeah, I would agree with everything you've said there for sure. I think, again, just going back, I think there's enough commercial industry going to the area that this market is going to be able to keep up. The demand is going to keep up with the supply in this market. I'm confident of it.
Lastly, we'll just touch on days on the market quickly because it's kind of the same story that we've been seeing, but a little bit of a wild ride. For some reason, we had this huge peak here in July, which is totally against all trends that we typically see. But the good news is that it's trending down with 41 days on the market, which is, not terrible, but it's not great, somewhere in the middle. So I won't too much more on days on the market because we've kind of done that quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. What is interesting, and I'll just quickly mention it, and we don't want to speculate too much about it, is that we're seeing a peak at one of those spring, summer months consistently in these markets. Something we'll want to think about and try to see if we can come up with a strong theory.
All right. Well, that will wrap up Westfield.